So if all happens subconsciously first and then kind of percolates into consciousness, then that's where I want to work. I want to work with the subconscious mind. That's where all the good stuff happens, the big stuff happens, the fast stuff happens. And then hypnosis is the tool of choice for working with the subconscious.
So one of the things that I do, Igor, is I help people get into their body and get in touch with their inner child, right?
Makes huge sense.
Right. And what I've discovered is I've been working with people who have gone through coaching, who've gone through therapy. And I'm sorry, there's a lot of people out there doing harm who are in horrible shape, right? Because they don't trust their body. They've gone whatever trauma or whatever has happened in their life. So how can I ask someone to get into their body? So the first thing I have to do is help them learn how to love and trust their body.
Yep.
Then we can do the work.
Right.
Right. So it's really kind of interesting that some of the stuff that we're talking about isn't the first thing that we work on when we work with people.
No.
Because that person isn't ready for that yet.
Yes.
Right. So tell me a little bit about what you do, who you do it with, what it's like.
So there's so many things, so I have to figure out which version of that I go for. So look, the simplest version of it would be look like this. I believe that all learning, all behavior, and all change happen unconsciously first, right? And then it percolates through consciousness, and then you become conscious of something. But if you don't have the underlying subconscious neurology lined up for you, you won't even notice it, right? You know how you could go into an old Disney movie and you have a room full of kids and adults, taking the kids into it. And then the kids will laugh at some parts of the movie, and all the adults will laugh at a different part of the movie, but it's the same movie, right? But actually, it isn't. It's two separate stories layered on top of each other, one for the children to appreciate, one for the adults to appreciate, and something in between that both can appreciate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The children can't laugh at the adult jokes because they lack the internal wiring for it. They haven't got the hormones for any romantic jokes, right? They haven't got the social understandings for the social subtleties and the digs and so on, right? So their unconscious minds just gloss over it like nothing happened because it's invisible to them. It's like bees can see ultraviolet radiation. We can't.
Right.
So we literally cannot see the world a bee sees because we lack the neurology for it. So if all happens subconsciously first and then kind of percolates into consciousness, then that's where I want to work. I want to work with the subconscious mind. That's where all the good stuff happens, the big stuff happens, the fast stuff happens. And then hypnosis is the tool of choice for working with the subconscious, right? It's literally just the discussion with someone else's subconscious to change the operating procedure so that going forwards, they move this way, whereas they used to move that way. And it might not look like much on the first day or the first week or the first month, but somewhere in that path, they'll end up somewhere completely different than they've ever been. And they'll be very happy with that because now they are, again, choosing intuitively, always in the direction of where they want to go. Or think of like a guided missile, right? A guided missile is always missing, right? It's always off course. But when it goes off course enough, it'll course correct and then it'll get close to the target and it'll go off course again. And it's basically zigzags. And then the closer it gets to the target, the less it has to zigzag. That's what we like. We don't need to know how to get there. We just need to go a direction that feels more left or right. And as you're going, you'll make a course adjustment and a course adjustment. And then when you get closer and closer to the goal, one day it just becomes so abundantly clear, this is what you do. That's because all the ducks have lined up. Your unconscious has figured it all out. And now you're ready to make a plan because it's in reach. You can only plan for things that are in reach. Hence, I agree with you. You set intentions for things that are out of reach. You make plans for things that are in reach. It's ridiculous to try and plan something that's out of reach because by definition, you lack the experience, the neurology, the perceptions to go for it. So you
And
have to
so many other things. And what's really interesting, so when I have my business hat on, because I was a business coach first, don't do it often, but when I do this 5-year planning exercise. And I do it visually and physically. So, we have 5 or 6 categories, and then we go 5 years from now, 3 years from now, 1 year from now. And we put the tasks in the goals, and then step back. 100% of the time, I hear, I can do that in a year. Like, yep. And it gets done.
Yeah.
In a year, because I can only foresee so far out. Right. So I might say in 5 years, but I can only foresee so far out.
It's the basis of the whole idea of chaos theory, right? Because the further out you go, the more variables come in that will screw up your predictions. So any business plan that's really, I'd say, more than 3 months, maybe 6 months in advance, is propaganda.
I love that, propaganda. So you'll love this, and you can steal it if you want. I have an exercise that I do. It's kind of like a woman's circle approach, where we build a vision board physically. So it's, I want it 3-dimensional, not just one. When we talk about it, we do the woman circle type of thing, though there are men there too. At the end, you know how you achieve your goal, and it's only 3 months, so it's achievable.
Okay.
You achieve your goals by letting go.
Yes.
So we burn the boards.
Yes. So you're not constantly obsessing on it, because otherwise you create inattentional blindness again.
Right. And you don't open up.
Absolutely. Like the analogy I always give people is, when you buy a car, have you noticed how suddenly everyone in town decides they want your car, and it pops up everywhere? You're not looking for your car, but you are finding it everywhere. But you didn't used to find it. And the reason for that is your part of your brain that creates attention. It's called the reticular activating network or system.
Yep.
And you've just put your car on a top level priority because you spent a lot of time, energy, and resources on acquiring it. So now it's top level priority. And so your subconscious is constantly scanning the environment for another opportunity for this, because it's important to you. So all you're doing when you're setting an intention is you're saying, this life is important to me. Figure it out. Anything that takes me closer, make me pay attention to it. Anything that takes me away from it, make me blind to it, because I don't need it.
Important. Yeah.
Right. So look, if my goal is just purely, let's say, to lose weight, just to be physically fit, right? Then I'm very happy if my unconscious mind walks me through a supermarket and I'm completely oblivious to the chocolate aisle. And I'm lost in thought as I'm walking through it. And suddenly my attention comes back when I'm in, I don't know, with the eggs or the milk and get something healthy, right?
Right.
And I have no problem with that, because that's a good use of forgetting. It's good use of being ignorant, right? I don't want to obsess on the chocolate aisle. So wouldn't it be so much easier to just forget to pay attention? And then likewise, when I'm somewhere where something good is happening, right? Let's say walking through a display and maybe there's a kefir or a kombucha or something, some probiotic drink is there. And it's new. And suddenly I spot it, go, oh, what's this? I haven't seen this before. And now curiosity makes me attracted to it, because I've set health and physical well-being as my intention. I don't plan where to go. It's just when I go to the supermarket, I forget to go down the chocolate aisle. And then when I happen to be in the novel section, whatever it is, and there is something that fits that list, my unconscious just goes, look, there's something interesting there. Pay attention to that, right? Whether I buy it or not is irrelevant. What matters is I'm constantly being exposed to opportunities. Which one? Say again?
That fit.
That fit precisely, right? You're right. Chocolate is an opportunity, just not the one I want.